Well, hello there. We're doing tactics again, so let's get right into it. You can pause the video, try to solve what you have in front of you yourself, and then you can check how I do it. So again, let's look for checks, captures, and attacks. As usual, white is down everything. He doesn't have anything, basically only rook and queen, though we do have this pawn next to the king. So okay, checks, here. I see two checks. Captures, take here, or queen takes, or queen b6, so we have like 5 candidate moves or something. Queen b6, we can discard. There is this check, which looks promising. So after this check, what's black doing? So if he blocks with the rook, we can take with checkmate, basically. King a8, checks, captures, attacks. Queen takes c6 is a check. If he takes back, this is checkmate. And also, if king b8, queen b7 is checkmate. So this looks correct. Keep in mind we can't really take this. Even if we could, we would still be down a piece, but there's also queen d1 checkmate. So let's go queen d6 and take on c6, a nice queen sacrifice, and this wins the game. So okay, I'll pause the video again and try to figure it out. So checks, captures, and attacks. We're down a queen. Checks are, well, really just 2 checks. So we are probably taking on g7 with something. So which rook should we take with? So if rook e takes g7, he can't go here because this will be a double check and checkmate, which means king f8 is the only move. What is that check? I can only see rook g8. After rook g8, what's he doing? King f7 or king e7. But I think after both moves, rook 2 to g7 is checkmate. So this looks correct, right? Here. Yeah, if f7, g7, if e7 also. So yeah, this seems to work. Checkmate. Okay. Pause the video again. Checks, captures, and attacks. So our queen is attacked, so there are no checks. We can't capture the queen, we can't capture a pawn. If we take the queen, he will take ours, of course. Don't see a good follow-up. This doesn't make much sense. So no checks, no captures, so we have to look for attacks or otherwise threats. I can see we can move the queen to b3. We will then create the actual threat of taking the queen. Also some discovered attacks on this king. This king doesn't really have any square, so this kind of threatens checkmate in a lot of ways. I'm not sure what to calculate here. So checks for the opponent, bishop takes b2. If we take with the queen, well, we can't take with the queen, because if this, then queen g7 is checkmate. We can also take with the king, I think. I don't see anything wrong with that. So there he has at least queen f6, he can kind of survive for a bit. So I guess we'll take with the queen if needed. But yeah, I think queen b3 is the answer. His queen is attacked, and if he moves, for example, to f6, yeah, I guess queen f6 might be the main move to try to block. So queen b3, queen f6. I think rook f5 is a nice discovered attack. Is a check, he has to go queen e6, but then we can nicely deflect the queen with rook to f8. He will take, and queen takes e6. So queen b3, queen f6, rook f5 seems winning. So queen b3, what if queen e7? The same idea. I guess rook f5 again, then he has to block. So yeah, it's the same position. So queen b3, here he goes here. I think it's rook f5, right? Yeah, and then go to f8 and take the queen. So as you can see, the puzzles are getting a bit more difficult, but it's nothing that we can't handle. So again, pause your video, figure out the solution yourself. Checks, captures, and attacks. What do we have here? Material is about equal. White has some pawns, I guess. One pawn. We're kind of attacking the king here. So checks. No real checks. Captures. well, same pawn, g2, d5, b2, but they're all pawn captures, don't seem to do much. What else? Attacks, threats. So threats of checkmate on h2 perhaps. Bishop e5 threatens queen h2, it also threatens the knight. So this looks like the most promising move. What exactly is white doing after bishop e5? Forcing moves for white, there's no checks. You can capture this to defend, but I guess I'll take the piece, right? So, not sure what white is supposed to do. h3, g3, these are the only moves kind of. But after them I will take the knight. So let's go. So this is just a fork on a piece and on a checkmate. So we'll play. Okay, next one, pause the video, checks, captures, and attacks. Where's the solution here? So material is basically equal. His king is on a strange square. Okay, checks, captures, and attacks. So the checks are either piece to h4, no captures, basically. Attacks. So we can't really attack anything. I mean, rook d4 attacks the queen, but apart from that, you can't see any big threats. Perhaps we can create some threat of checkmate, but the king can go here, I guess. So what can we do? We have to look at the checks. Queen h4, king g7, next check is queen f6. If g8, then f8 mate, otherwise if h6, then rook h4 mate. So this is quite elementary. Yeah, king, queen f8. Okay. Pause the video, figure out the solution. Checks, captures, and attacks. Well, I think this one is also quite simple. We have a few checks, so bishop h7 or rook g4, bishop h7, you can go g7, I guess. There might be a continuation, but I don't see it. But rook g4 is just mate in 2, king h8 is the only legal move, bishop f6 is checkmate. So I was saying they're getting more difficult, but it might not be the case. Okay, let's solve one more. Checks, captures, and attacks. This one looks a bit more chaotic. Pause the video. Okay, we are up material actually, but he's kind of checkmating us. What can we do here? Checks, bishop, rook takes e7. It does look kind of promising. If he takes rook e1, then if f8 or d8, this will be a big fork. If d6, this is a fork because of the pin. So always check the check. So after rook e7, I guess he can't really take. But if he doesn't take, goes to f8 or d8, and knight e6, and forks the queen and the king. We will have plenty of material. So this looks correct. Also, he can block with the queen, getting 2 rooks for the queen, but as mentioned, we have more material, so liquidation like this should be in our favor. So rook e7, rook e1, and knight e6. Otherwise, as mentioned, if here, then knight e4. It's a nice fork using the pin. So hopefully this was useful, and I'll see you next time.